You are being programmed.
So before I go into my theory a little bit, I just want to read out what they say basically Wi-Fi is. And it's a wireless network that uses radio waves, just like cell phones, televisions and radios do. In fact, communication across a wireless network is a lot like a two-way radio communication. Here's what happens. A computer's wireless adapter translates data into radio signal and transmits it using an antenna. Number 2, a wireless router receives the signal and decodes it. The router sends the information to the internet using a physical wired Ethernet connection. The process also works in reverse, with the router receiving information from the internet, translating it into a radio signal and sending it into the computer's wireless adapter. So there's part 1. I'm going to read the second part out, and then I'm just going to throw something out here that I've briefly mentioned in the intro, or what I believe could be going on if we're living in a computer realm. As a lot of people say, it makes sense. They're using the torus field against us as an antenna. So the radio uses Wi-Fi communication, which are very similar to the radios used for walkie-talkies, called cell phones and other devices as we've seen. They can transmit and receive radio waves, but they can convert ones and zeros binary into radio waves and convert the radio waves back into ones and zeros. But Wi-Fi radios have a few notable differences from other radios. So there's routers and different things. They transmit at frequencies of 2.4 GHz or 5 GHz at present. Let's add that. 2 add 4 is 6. Add 5 is, oh yeah, just that damn 11 again. So they do basically at the minute 2 frequencies, and they add to 11, the realm of L11, the jurisdiction of L. So this frequency is considerably higher than the frequencies used for cell phones, walkie-talkies and television. The higher the frequency allows the signal to carry more data. I've talked about data before, being the 11th zetafot. So 2.4 GHz, which is not Gnosticism, so 2.4 GHz connections are now considered somewhat obsolete because they carry a lower data speed than the 5 GHz. The 2.4 band continues to see use, however, because the lower frequency can carry over several hundred feet. In ideal conditions, the 5 GHz band has a max range of about 200 feet, 61 meters, but in the real world, it is much more prone to interference from walls, doors and objects. The 2.4 band may be faster for a user connected to a router several rooms away, while 5 GHz will definitely be faster for a close connection. So my theory is I'm going to translate this into us being the routers and the Ethernet connection, and I want to see what you guys think. Yes, probably crazy, but here goes, guys. Yes, all objects, including human bodies, emit electromagnetic radiation. The wavelengths of radiation emitted depends on the temperature of the object. Such radiation is sometimes called thermal radiation. Most of the radiation emitted by a human body is in the infrared region, mainly at the wavelength of 12 micron. So this got me thinking. I don't know, guys, sometimes it's dangerous when I start thinking, but nonetheless, this is what I come up with, and I think some of you might find it intriguing, interesting, and some will think I'm crazy, but here goes. So without saying infrared and thermal radiation, it just got me thinking, when we are not well, our body reacts and fights by turning the temperature up. As you can see, they work faster to try and fight off the infection. The increase in these white blood cells affects your hypothalamus, and this makes your body heat up, causing a fever. In the early stages of fever, you often feel cold and start to shiver. So picture, as you can see from the screen now, your body warming up. Your body is emitting infrared radiation. This gave me a wow of an idea. And that idea was, they are implementing, obviously through chemtrails, food, sexual intercourse, water, all these pollutants and contaminants, they are actually embedding these little nasties, these sleepers in us. Now think about it, if we get ill and we emit infrared and radiation, and obviously the hotter we get, we emit a stronger. If you can then use that to change the frequency of your toroidal field or torus field, just like a remote. Think of you as a remote. You are pressing buttons or binary or whatever you want to call it on your remote. That is sending out a signal, which then is getting amplified by your torus field, and then you're changing the channel. You are lowering the volume of your TV, so you actually can control your TV wirelessly, just like this theory of mine that they are implementing. Their sleepers, these bugs, these nasties are in us, and they get activated. Now how do they get activated? I think, what do we have a lot of in this realm? We have a lot of arches. They're everywhere. Now you can just picture yourself walking through an arch, and most people are fine because their immune system's strong. But these arches are like logic gates. It's talked about this many times in old videos. Logic gates are found in computers. They are electronic devices used to control the flow of data. Where are the data? When data passes through a logic gate, it changes its state. This change depends on the input. Many logic gates could be joined together to form a logic circuit. The function of this circuit is more complicated than a single logic gate. So think about it, we are walking through gates, and these inputs, these gates are basically transmitting signals, and some of them get through, and when they get through, they activate these little nasties that's in certain people. But think about it, some of us are okay, some of us are always sick because the toroidal field has been damaged, not giving us any protection. It's just crazy to think about, isn't it? But I think I'm onto something. Right guys, I come across this, and this is with regard to viruses, etc. And I'm talking about Wi-Fi. I'm talking about how we are basically, our torus field is being hijacked to basically create, you remember in electronics when in EMP, they want to knock out electronics, and basically they drop an EMP, and weird type of that of sorts. They're using the torus field to emit a frequency that's activating the little nasties that's hidden within, because through sexual intercourse, food, water, all the pollutants, the sky, they're in us, and they need to be activated, and then obviously the damage is done from within. So I come across this article, and it's a long time. This was published in 21st of March 2014, and it's talking about 10 great discoveries, a Wi-Fi virus that spreads like a cold, and that's what intrigued me and caught my attention. So it's talking about for National Science and Engineering Week, we are celebrating 10 great scientific advances made by the University of Liverpool. Over the 10 days of the event, we will be highlighting a different advance each day to show what science can achieve. Now you can take this what you will, I'm just showing you what I found. So basically, researchers at the University of Liverpool have shown for the first time that Wi-Fi networks can be infected with a virus that can move through densely populated areas as efficiently as a common cold spreads between humans. The team designed and simulated an attack by a virus called chameleon and found that not only could it spread quickly between homes and businesses, but it was also able to avoid detection and identify the points of which Wi-Fi access is least protected by encryption and passwords. Alan Marshall, Professor of Network Security at University, said Wi-Fi connections are increasingly a target for computer hackers because of well-documented security vulnerabilities, which make it difficult to detect and defend against the virus. It was assumed that if it wasn't possible to develop a virus that could attack Wi-Fi networks, but we could demonstrated that it was possible and it can spread quickly, we are now able to use the data generated from the study to develop a new technique to identify when an attack is likely. So you can just see my point on this. This is 2014, so you're talking 8 years ago, and they're talking about how viruses can get passed on through Wi-Fi and basically not be identified how they've breached security. So that got me thinking, what's the common denominator in all these things? We are like Wi-Fi routers. We're able to transmit and receive. So if something inside us is changing the frequency of our toroidal field to basically put out a distress signal, when we're walking past people who are ill or have a weakened toroidal field or torus field, it is basically hitting these little nasties hidden within us and activating them and creating all the little nasty viruses via us. It's just a thought, and this is just showing you how in computer terms it's possible, but even through Wi-Fi, to pass on from one house to businesses, etc., through housing or through a housing estate, suburbia, whatever you want to call them, workplace. I just found it fascinating, and I'm going to show you some etymology that I found on virus, obviously virals, but also 100% etymology broken down like I do, and also something that'll blow your mind that I found on Wi-Fi. Right, guys, I had to show this, guys. I just thought it was ironic with what I'm showing you, and this article is from 2006. So again, how much of the advance since this and what damage could be done using Wi-Fi networks. And just look at the title. The Janus Project PC can scan 300 Wi-Fi networks at once. So you can see the date. A long time ago. You have heard of black hat hackers, white hat hackers, but what about leather hat hackers? Meet the first. Carl Williams, the creative genius, has built the ultimate network hacking PC, the Janus Project, which can focus its 8 Wi-Fi cards to break your standard web encryption in under 5 minutes. Beyond that, it can sniff 300 Wi-Fi networks, simultaneously store and continuously encrypt all the data with these 256-bit keys. In addition, the Janus Project has an instant off switch which requires a USB key that has a USB key Janus doorways that has 2000-bit passkey and a separate password to regain access. And basically, what's under the hood? Williams packed an Ubuntu Linux machine running on a 1.5 gigahertz. So you're talking 2006. So you're talking 16, 18 years ago. What tech, what computers are they working now? That is what the scary thing is. And yes, it's not always a negative thing, because sometimes there's ethical hackers, but we know what the government's like. And so this can be transported anywhere. It's in a waterproof box, and you can see 2006. So, and it's called the Janus Project, and it's talking about how it can access and hack Wi-Fi networks. That just blew me away. So we know we're always some X amount of years behind. So again, what are they doing now? And it's just basically like us. Are the people out there, are they using our toroidal field to hack other toroidal fields? Now, what's another scary thing is there actual tech out there that can let them do it, in the sense of not just us using our toroidal field to activate these nasties, but what is it if there is tech that can actually hack straight away into and change things in humans? Who knows? It's just mind-boggling to think about. So there you go, guys. So I'm talking about us being hacked and our toroidal field being hacked and used against us. And I don't mean everyone, because everyone, we're all unique, but on a whole, that's what I believe is going on. It's the simplest and plausible theory for me, that they're changing the frequency of something that is so powerful, and most people don't realize we have it or we're capable of using it. So obviously this guy who's the front guy for Klaus Schwab, we saw him in the social media, on the press, and he's even talking about how humans are now hackable animals. So he says humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have this soul or spirit and nobody knows what's happening inside them and they have free will, that's over. So even him and the fucking cabal are telling you you're hackable. It's in your face. We're hackable. And what better way than having a walking IED who can walk around, and for anyone who's not strong-willed or strong torus field or an immune system, are basically passing on code that's making, the toroidal field hackable, and it can do so much. It's just crazy to think about it in such a simplistic form, that we're walking around and we're doing the work for them. And I don't mean me in person, for anyone out there who's ready to type. You know what I mean? It's just in general. Now you can say this is just the NPCs, but even that's debatable on what an NPC is. I just find this is intriguing, in not in like a wow way, but in the fact that they've managed to do it. And I know a lot of people out there already who have been talking about this behind the scenes agree that this is happening, because you're talking about voice to skull technology and so on, and this is happening, guys. It's just scary and intriguing all rolled into one, because we're looking at things and we're trying to come up with another plausible reason behind it. So what you're seeing here is an image of Ixion. Now Ixion was tricked by Zeus into making love with a cloud, thinking it was Hera. I don't know how you get around that, but it was. Anyway, the long story short, this what I'm going to show you now cannot be used as evidence from a video. I just found it an anomaly, which I'll have to look into further, but the anomaly was such wow and jaw-dropping, I had to include it just to show you the weird things that I found when I'm making videos. And that's what I do. I like to show you the weird things I found. So what you're seeing is just an image of his punishment on a wheel, but what I wasn't prepared for is what I found. The company in it, it's a Flickr photograph, and this is what they state. So Ixion, who is not mentioned in Homer, Hesiod was the son of Phlegius, where the support etymology of Janos and Jana from dies comes from. Now that's what got my attention. Then something else caught my eye. Look at Ixion and look at the side. You have if and IY. That is Wi-Fi backwards. So what is that doing there? Are they saying that is another name for Ixion and another name for Janos? I don't know, and I'm looking into it as I'm doing. I'm not finding much, but I just had to show you just some of the weird things that I find that sometimes don't go into videos. But this was just made me, and I'm talking about us being hackable and human Wi-Fi, and another name for Janos. I've done Ion in the past, but Ixion, and they've thinking it, but at the side of it saying IFIW. Wow, and I'm like, no way. So I had to include that, guys, just to show you the weird and the wonderful that I find. So virus is via us. That's how it's passed on, via us, but not in the way people think. I've told you, I believe it's the toroidal field amplifying the signal, sending out code, binary, and weaker torus fields have been picking up this and basically activating them. The sleepers awake. Yes, that was from June. But look at the etymology. V-I-R is Latin for man, but also is for venom and poison. So are they saying men are poisonous? Or is it men in plural, meaning both sexes? Who knows? And us is Latin for you. So are they saying it's man-made? Are they saying it's passed on from man to you, basically, from person to person? And I'm theorising it's done by the toroidal field being hacked. It's just my little theory. A lot of people seem to agree so far when I've been talking behind the scenes. See what you guys think. I just found intriguing that virus meant virals, but actually the etymology, as you can see, means man and you. It's like everything is coming together. So I wanted to finish by doing the etymology of Wi-Fi before I got to my thoughts. And WI meant we, so that is us. So we're on a good track, aren't we? Then I was looking at FI, and I didn't find too much. And it just dawned on me, it was screaming at me in the face, but when you research and do videos, sometimes you don't see the obvious. Then I remembered all videos and etymology. So guys, Wi-Fi, you're changing it. So it's WI, which is we, and the phi actually is pi, P-H-I, phi. So Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi, as some people call it. So the phi is P-H-I for pi. But this is where the intriguing thing is. A lot of people believe P-H-I, pi, phi, actually comes from pata, father. And I've talked about pata a lot lately. So basically Wi-Fi is we are pata. Now this is where it blows your mind when you start putting pata involved in. We got our torus field, which I talked about in atmospheric memory and things. So please check out all the old videos. You'll see me leading up to all this. I wasn't prepared, guys. I think which is dangerous with me, I found something so significant, it's like I've just opened the key. I know, I'm just blown away. And I've told a few people like Ryder, who I talked to mainly a lot lately, and he was astonished too, because this is how everything is connected. We are walking Wi-Fi, as I'm telling you, but the Wi-Fi is something I'm going to allude to now, and you're just going to love it. So what I believe I found is how we connect to everything, and how they hack the toroidal field, and why that is like a router, a transmitter and receiver. Now here's Ptah on screen, and as you can see, Ptah was an important deity in ancient Egypt, credited with creating the world, protecting the royal family and listening to prayers. He was a symbol of creation, and as a creator deity, he was a maker of all living things in the universe. Now I'll break that down for even more for people like me. Ptah's chief attribute was his power to give form to everything. Now we're in a realm where we create as we speak. Ptah is associated with the mouth. I've done many videos on this in the last 4 or 5 weeks, so please check them out in regard to atmospheric memory and the magic of spell casting, because Ptah is linked to that. Now he's also connected to creating things. Now if we are Wi-Fi, or a new word that I've created called manify, because we are manifesting using the power of phi, which is Ptah, which is creating form. People talk about manifestation all the time. Well, there you go, guys. I've just shown you what it is, and it blew me away. Now he was associated with fine metalwork and craftsmanship. Ptah symbolized divine rule and was closely linked to the royal family. Ptah was often depicted with 3 symbols. That was a scepter, the ankh, which obviously means life, and the Jed pillar, which represents Ptah's creativity, power and stability. That's how he created things. That is what we have in our heads, the pillars, the temples. We also have pineal gland, but also the magic, the spell, the vocal cords that I've talked about so much. So doesn't it sound like creativity, power, stability? It sounds like your Wi-Fi signal. And that is your toroidal field on how you connect and how you perceive this reality. You know, I've been talking about this for so long. Now I know how it connects with Ptah, because he is the god that gives form to everything. So if we're manifesting, and like that new word I'm talking about, manify, we're manifestation using phi, which is we are Ptah. It just makes so much sense. And think about it. We're routers, we're Wi-Fi, and that's how we connect. But, and here's the but, if you look at the Jed pillar, everyone talks about it in regard to, the electric world and all this lot. But I've just showed you what it is. But look at this. Look at the Jed pillar. And this is just a generic old image from a hieroglyph of the Jed pillar. What does it look like to you guys? So I'll give you a few seconds, and I'm excited. You can hear me. I'm so excited. Now guys, look at it. Is that not a bloody Wi-Fi signal? Is it not? And I'll put a Wi-Fi signal at the side and you can see what I'm talking about. It even has near enough the right number of lines that's in the Jed pillar, which is in the Wi-Fi signal. Drop the mic, drop the pen. I'm just blown away, guys. So this new word, manify, is how we manifest using the power of Ptah, which is father, which is obviously from one standpoint of view, yes, and it's tied to Janos. So you can see why I'm blown away, and I'll get more into this in regard to what I'm talking about in my thoughts.
Yeah, they call me the black sheep. You know they call me the black sheep.
Hello and welcome. And it is freezing. Not Canadian or everywhere else in the world freezing. Freezing for the UK. It's cold outside. Did you not know? So guys, I want to again thank you for the love and the support and the comments when I can get to them and look at them. Don't think I'm ignoring them. It just means YouTube are not letting me, or I'm really busy, as you know what I do outside YouTube land. So I find it very hard to have any time. That's why I'm not on too much social media. I've just started to go back on. So if you guys want to see me on a daily basis, I don't know why, or want to see the memes I make and other things, please hit me up on Instagram. Obviously it's What the Flock TV, and you'll see some of the warp things that I put into memes and anything else that I decide to put out and post. And obviously I want to thank everyone for to buy me a coffee. Obviously that link will be in the description after, and for everyone that's done that, guys, it's just a humbling experience. When you start this journey off making videos and content, I planned it on being an online diary, not hoping anyone would watch and see what's going on in the crazy head. And you've all been on my path. You've all followed me from the black sheep and to now What the Flock TV. And obviously you'll be getting new subscribers daily, but YouTube's not showing me that. So anyway, I just want to thank everyone for that, and thank you for being on the journey with me. It's truly appreciated. It's a humbling experience, like I said, to have people to view your content and support you by buying you coffee, by sharing, by liking, passing on the message of, yeah, you want to see something different. You want to see a guy who's not promoting facts. You want to see a guy who's just like you, just intrigued by his story, which basically now, as you see, that is just one person's manifestation. Manify. Get that on a t-shirt, baby. So on to it. So all the thanks is out the way, and a few very special few out there. Wow. You just have to, guys. You just have to have a little bit of humour in any videos that you do. It's a cold world out there, and now I'm believing I'm on it to know why and how it's basically called. So the video is, also don't forget the 11th hour. My and Ryder Lee from Raised by Giants new channel where we're merging together, and please check it out because it's just two guys. Well, I think I'm a guy. I know Ryder. what is he? I'm only joking, but you know, it's just two normal peeps sitting down talking and basically having a laugh and just giving their opinion on various stuff. So check it out, the 11th hour. Highly recommend it. Anyway, so on to this video. It is human Wi-Fi. It's me following my series. People have always asked, is there any more Tor-oid-al videos coming out? And I didn't want to talk about the Tor-oid-al video in the sense of what the etymology and all that was, because if you've watched that, you know you're getting it in your head what I'm trying to get at by this Tor-oid-al field. It's more important than they let you on. And now I know why. If I didn't know after the first one. But I keep wanting to push myself and not just, like I said, think of stuff that, yeah, guys, it's this, guys, it's that. Now I know it's us magnifying and it's a whole new different ballpark. I started the video off talking about how people are getting ill and there's all that germ theory and everyone else's theory, and you know what I mean, there's so many theories out there on how we get ill, and people say we're not getting ill and all this. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but when I walk down the street, I'm seeing people reacting to having colds, flus and different things, and you can call them what you want. You can say viruses are dead, that's fine by me. But people are still getting them, and how are they getting them? And that's what I theorise in this video, that we all have all these different things in us to an extent. Some people will have more because obviously people look after themselves, so they keep their toroidal field, their immune system inside as well, fighting fit. So it fights off any of these little nasties that come in, you know, come into your bloodstream. People detox. So there's loads of ways around it how people are not as ill as, you know, as other people. But I want to let you into a little secret, guys. People talk bullshit. People lie. People want to push an agenda and say, look at me, guys, try my new blah 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 for X amount, you'll never be ill again. People lie. And why do we think as in a community, or it might just be my cynical mind, but you know what I mean, I've seen enough people out there saying, yes, follow my regime, look at me, fit as a fiddle, never ill, and they're half dead 9 times out of 10 when you're not seen on screen. So you know what I mean, how are people getting ill? Well, supposedly cancerous cells are in us and they're not activated. So why couldn't other nasties be ingested into the system? Obviously you can beat the what's it called, the stomach acids and get through into your blood system. So we could drink them, we could eat them, we could breathe them in, we could have it in sexual intercourse. So there's so many ways. It could even be the case of anything that can penetrate, because our skin is porous, can get in. So you have to picture a little nasty. You can picture any way you want, but just think of that of being a sleeper cell in you, and how would it get activated? How would it turn on? You could say a stressful moment. Like I said, I've known people who's been fit as a fiddle, nothing wrong with them, have a little like a, you know, electrocution, that's like turned on cancer cells in them and they've died months later, and that's a family member. So these things happen. So I was just thinking to myself, well, how do people get ill on a daily basis? What is it? Now just think of it, like I said, little nasties inside your system. 9, I don't even want to hazard a guess of percentage, but picture you walking down the street. Well, let's not say that because we could manifest that. So picture something walking down the street and they're giving off a signal, and you could say binary in this form of a frequency. We light up, you know, we're supposed to be able to glow but we can't see it, or when we get warm, because we are, you know, that's what I was talking about. When we get ill, we do warm up because the white blood cells are attacking. So you something's walking down the street and it's giving off a distress call. It's giving off, these little nasties, a beacon, are giving off a frequency that is being amplified, a pulse, by your toroidal field. And you're walking past someone else who's maybe not ill, but the toroidal field is not getting refreshed, it's not getting nourished, and that distress signal is basically activating the little nasties within them. They're hearing the binary code or the pulses of sound, the toroidal field, the energy, the radiation, and it's turning them on side, which then they replicate. It's just a thought. Like I said, it's not fact, it's not I'm going against what everyone else is saying. It's just something that came to me because we've seen evidence of this in loads of films and TVs, and I wanted to make it so basic for even me, because when we see, you know, other people talking about how vaccines work and people's illnesses, it is hard to follow sometimes because there is a lot of research. Like anything, if you don't research it, you get left behind. And the way my brain works is different to everyone else's, but along the lines, along the path, and I'll get onto that later, we do cross. So that to me would just be the basic. Think of like the nasties as a buoy giving out a GPS or a, you know, distress call, and it activates all the buoys that walk past. It's just intriguing because to me it made a lot of sense that viruses, yes, they're dead. Well, when they're in you and they're activated, they're not dead. And there's loads of evidence for computer hacking and worms and malware and different things. I mean, I made this a video a long time ago, and it got one of the reasons my other channel got taken down, and I was just saying our human malware, and I've progressed that, and I've added a lot to it to incorporate the torus field. Because think about it, what is a common denominator in everything? It's us. Again, that is what people forget. We're not all the same. We do share certain frequencies, and if the evil, the cabal out there have managed to use and trigger a certain frequency in one Wi-Fi route to a hub, which is us, or remote trigger, any analogies that you can use to refer to us, and we're walking ground and it's activating sleeper cells within people, and people go, no, that's impossible. Right, okay, I'm smiling, and you guys watching at home, I can guarantee one of you two, when I smile, you smile to yourself because you feel the radiation, you feel me glowing. I'm smiling. So if I'm out in your person again, and or even on the interweb, me smiling has had an effect on you. It's changed a frequency in you. It's made you go, I can feel Paul's vibe, and I'm smiling. And this is hello. That's for you. So again, it's just showing you emotions, both negative and positive, can be passed on and felt. I've been saying that for years. So why can't a frequency by the little nasties be given off, get amplified? Oh, this best not be a delivery for me. I am filming. I should get a big sign outside. I am filming live. And for people out there, no, I'm not going up to fart. So yeah, that signal is being amplified by the toroidal field. Now, the toroidal field is there to protect us. One possibility of protecting us, but it's also to protect ourselves. You know what I mean? So it's both ways. A field can stop things coming in, but also stop things getting out. So if we look after ourselves, and in life, you know, we've not all not ate the best things, or drank the best things, or taken the best things. So we would have them in us, and they lie dormant. So we have to protect each other by, you know, being as positive as we can. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's to do with moods, and, you know, if we're positive, does that charge it up? You know, there's so many things that you can think of in this video in regard to them hacking us. You have voice to skull technology that's putting images and thoughts in people's minds. So you got mind control. Maybe there's other ways to what I'm talking about that can make us change the frequency. Maybe it can be, a pulse on and off. It does not necessarily all the time. So there's loads of ways of looking at it. But it's just intriguing. And when we think of things like this, of activating through code and like I said, I started off using the radiation from the heat, and that would give off light as well as a frequency that devices would learn to, could feel and activate, and then it lowers your immune system. It is a scary thing to think about it, because it leaves everyone wide open. And we all have good and bad days, and a lot of us have a lot of more bad days, because as a society we seem to be perpetually ill, because being ill is money and it's a business. And there's always someone out there in the community trying to pass the, ailments that this will heal all. And you see all these new theories, and it's hard to trust in a reality where people are not out for your best interest. You know what I mean? I mean, what else could these little nasties do? Could they actually change your thought patterns, change how you think? This is why I like doing these videos, because I don't know. I'm winging it. I'm being honest. But if we don't do these videos and don't talk about these things, how are you going to progress to anything? You know what I mean? People seem to be getting offended by anything and attacking you. And this is why I was saying to close friends, I bet that's a delivery text. Well, I'm sorry. Talking to people on YouTube and have channels on any other the platforms have a duty of care. And you know what I mean? People are susceptible to me saying things and other channels saying their things. That's why I say to people, this is not fact. It's just an opinion and theorizing on what I'm seeing around. I'm trying to make the best of the tools I've got. Sometimes people have better tools and more tools, then they can decide and make a better theory, and that's what we do. I'll make this, someone will come up with an idea, I'll go, wow, next video I could incorporate that, or it gets my juices flowing. So we're in this type of realm, and I've talked about the realm of L11 and how it's electric, and the two pillars. Now obviously 2 pillars is 11, the doorway, but also now you could incorporate the Jed, which that just blew me away, because that's connected to Ptah. And I was always thinking of what out there could be activating. Is it just us? To me, that would be explain it. But also I was thinking, well, we walk through enough doorways. The doorway effect makes us forget short term. What would the big pillar do? I've talked about the big arches being thingy gates, logic gates, but also transmitters. So if they're transmitting frequencies and we are walking through said frequency, that could be another way of activating the data within. And I've always thought, how many videos have I made and said, guys, why have they got these arches there? Everything in the building's been destroyed, and bang, you'll have an arch. Then you'll have a modern arch, and we're walking through them constantly 24/7. What is that doing? And that intrigues me. That's what blows my mind, because it should blow yours. And people are always, saying, Paul, you should check this theory out. I try and check as much as possible, but it's hard, because as soon as I watch anything, it gives me ideas and I'm off. I've been reading the same book for like 5 years, and I'm still on the first page, because every time I read a sentence, it ignites something passionate inside me, and I want to go investigate, and off you go. And that's what happens with me. So we have these Jed, and that was connected to obviously the pillars, the 11, the doorway, obviously Ptah, the creator god. I mean, think about it. He and the word manify that I made. Remember, guys, you heard it here first. Manify. Manifestation using the Wi-Fi, the phi, the pi, the pata. We are pata, or are we using pata's force to manifest? I've talked about how to speak, the vocal cords, and manifestation of the words in the atmosphere, the atmospheric memory. And I talked about that a few 4 weeks ago, didn't I? If you remember, that could we think, talk, spell, and hit, and because we're in the void, the OID, to create form. And people think, well, why can't we manifest anything? Because think about it, they've taken away so much of our power. You know, it's like they're putting a magneto helmet on us to stop us from using the power that we once could. Again, just winging it and just coming up with theories to answer different questions. I mean, that's why we're talking about how do we pass it on? Viruses, via us. V-I-R means man. Wow. So are we talking about man-made activation by passing from man to man? Again, it's just mind-blowing when you start to look at things differently. Some people won't agree that we're in a computer realm, simulation, or anything. There's so many things, but manifestation is real. I've done it, and I can guarantee 9 times out of 10 people have done it at home, and people will do it to a different degree. I believe in ancient times we were boundless for what we could do. Could we manifest ourselves to be giants? Who knows? The power of Ptah. We've always been told you have to be on certain paths, and that's one thing that gets up my arsehole, my anos, is people telling you which path to take. You can't take the left, you can't take the right, it's always got to be in the middle path. Why? Why are you manifesting your reality? The middle path might be great for you, but it might not be great for me. It might not be great for people who's watching this today. Make your own path. Now look at the word path. P-A-T-H. Who's it got a manifestation and form? Ptah. P-T-A-H is an anagram of path. P-A-T-H, path. P-T-A-H, Ptah. Swap it around, you have path. Mind blower. And his chief attribute, remember, was the power to give form to everything. Now, did he need the Jed pillars as a Wi-Fi signal, or his router or booster, because he carries it with him everywhere with the Ankh for life on it, and the scepter? I mean, the scepter is a sign of dominion, power, giving the power its batteries, authority, control, the thingy of chaos, the path of chaos is in regard to Ptah and his scepter. I can't read my writing half the time, and obviously sometimes the Jed has been associated with the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So you can see all the connections to everything, and with the vocal cords, and obviously the thought, the pineal gland, and it seems to me that they are deactivating our powers year by year, or is it by generation, and we're fighting to get it back. That's why in the community we should be welcoming people with different ideas and different opinions, because that's igniting the Wi-Fi strength. I've told you about the torus field. It's an amplification. The brighter you are, the more knowledge you will learn and see. You will see this realm for so much more, and this answers so much on why reality is changing at will, because our toroidal fields are changing, and it's revealing so much of this reality. So you've got people who don't believe in the Mandela effect, people who do believe in the Mandela effect. There's people that take the piss in regards to being in the community, in the sense of everything changes. Oh, my name used to be this yesterday, and it's, you know, it's sometimes it happens within the communities that people just, you know, get too deep and start to believe their own shit, and that's a fact of this reality. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means, remember, if you're manifesting this and you're manifying it, you're going to change your reality. That's the beauty of this theory. It answers so much. I mean, VAR, remember, virus also means poison. So we could poison each other with our thoughts and our manifestations. Because when I make a video on this and people are like, wow, that's a good theory, you're manifestation in the theory now. So there's no right and wrong. People could say, well, we should all sit and not say anything. That way, we don't manifest anything evil or negative, or because it's pinning it on. But we can't live like that. It's like having children and you're not wanting to let them out because the world's bad out there. They will never learn. So if they ever did come into a bad situation, how are they going to handle it because they've not experienced it? So you're in a no-win situation with anything on content making. Some people will enjoy it, some people won't. People will get offended by it. Some people pretend to get offended by it just so they can be snowflakes. Snowflakes! That's for you. Oh wait! He winked with his left eye. So it's just a mind blower. Think about it. You got Wi-Fi. I mean, the Y being you, if I remember, and Phi being pi, but phonetically Phi. So it's Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi PHI came from Pata, and I just forgot until I was halfway through the video, and that just blew. So we is we. That's why, remember, the old Nintendo WI was called the Nintendo Wii. Well, the Wii. So Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi, Wi-Pata, we are Pata. And when you just find things like this, it doesn't matter if you believe or not, because we are manifying this all things into existence. It's like when I started this journey on looking into Janos, there's hardly any information. Now you can't stop it because more and more people are looking at it, and you can blame me for that. And it's creating more, but that goes with any topic or anything in life. But it's showing you this realm for what it is. It's like a holodeck in the sense of you can put your stories in, you can program a story into it, go into a Wi-Fi and you can live it, but you can still get hurt because you can turn the parameters off. If you've watched Star Trek, you'll understand what I'm meaning. So when we're in this, wow. So we in this reality had so much power in regard to this manifestation. And like I said, it's been slowly taken off us because they didn't want us to have the ability. And more and more people have the ability. You can see some really good people out there coming up to new theories, experiencing, can see the world differently, see it go, see things. And you will always get people ridiculing because they can't see it. And unfortunately, some of these theories have to be taken on faith in the sense of until you see it. I'll hold my hand up. I didn't laugh or ridicule people, but I think, okay, now they're nuts. When people were talking about frozen planes, and I saw it with all my family backing me up in Sky, and people just will hell-bent on you saying, you're nuts, you didn't see what you're seeing, it's a trick of the light, and, blah, blah. Like anything, so it's like pareidolia. But then again, if we're in a realm that we can magnify, anything is possible, anything was possible. And they're trying to stop you from doing it. So if we could do that, when you're feeling ill, are you manifestation? Are you turning these nasties on inside you? That's something else you have to think about, because you do feel sorry for yourself sometimes, and it's hard to go walk around with a cheesy grin when you're not feeling too good, because some of us are susceptible to EMF. So a lot of things can affect us. It could be 5G, 6G or whatever they're up to these days. They're getting posted LED light. Everything gives off an electromagnetic frequency. And if you're a Wi-Fi, you will know that sometimes you lose your signal. If you're in the next room or 2 rooms down, or you go outside, you can only get so far. So if we're walking around in a world polluted by radio waves, no wonder we're feeling like shit. You know what I mean? So it's just something to think about in this video, that, you know, are we being hijacked? I believe so. There's a lot of evidence for it. Even in the video, it talks about 15 years ago about a virus that can just jump from house to house or business, you know, putting viruses on computer. Wi-Fi virus. And is that not the same as what I'm trying to get at? You know, it's just thought in it. And then you have the guy who called the Janus Project 15 years ago, who was talking about how he could hack and do all this Wi-Fi signals with something called the Janus. Well, what are they using now, 15 years on? I mean, they were 20 or 30 odd years then. You know, some people think it's even further in advance. So we're walking round with two temples, two pillars in the realm of 11, with two Jed pillars, because we saw them, everyone talking about free energy and the Jed, which looks like died to me, and what that Jed pillars represents. I mean, the guy who can create anything out of form with thinking, speaking and thought had a Jed on his staff. Are we not walking computers, staffs, temples, you name it? You can come up with something. And if we're walking like that, and for instance, like I always talk about, you know, there's people out there who love to kidnap, no names, and people get kidnapped, and it's called the see, I even forget, you know, the Stockholm syndrome. You start to gain feelings because you're in that bubble. I've been talking about this for so long. When you spend enough time with something or someone, you attune to them, so then you start thinking things that they're thinking because you're on the same wavelength. So it's all frequencies, and that's why they worship Janos, because he controls A to B, the connection, the doorway, the path. That's why he's linked to Ptah also, the path. Just intriguing, isn't it, guys? And I just want people, again, I'm starting on the journey. This is the second one or third one in the toroidal field video, but I just wanted to talk about this human Wi-Fi or human Manify, but you guys wouldn't have known what the hell I'm talking about if I had put that in the title. It's intriguing, and again, it's just a theory that we've been hijacked to produce a frequency that is manipulating things around us. It's intriguing, isn't it? Tell me, is it not intriguing? Then you put into regard to the Ptah and the Jed pillars looking like the Wi-Fi symbol and strength and all that. It just gets you going. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I love doing. I like having a laugh, and I like looking at intriguing things and coming up things. Like I said, people seem to think I have a problem with people reading books. I don't. I have books there, but my point was, when I was getting to that point, is everything is a tool. It's how you use that tool. And they talk about all history is his story. I've showed you who regard to his Tor is. But guys, it's all about manifestation. It's all, the world as a stage. Well, you're a stage. You directing, are you on the script? You are manifesting. You're manifying. Because, you know, you're going off a said script. A script? What's a script, Paul? But think about it. The world is a stage. We're all actors, agents. Some people believe that, you know, NPCs. If we're not playing the game, are we not the NPCs? And people, again, used to say, well, no, because certain channels say this. Guys, we have to get into this reality where we all have the power of manifying. You like it? So whatever we see, we are manifying it ourselves. And that's what's unique. That's why we all see things differently. Surely even the stubbornest person out there is wondering, why is my friend seeing that? I don't see that. Why does my other friend see different to my other friend, and so on? Why do we see everything so differently? Because we're walking Wi-Fi routers with the Jed pillars, which is amplified, you know, in our toroidal fields, and how what we learn changes the frequency of that field. Will it make you more buoyant? Could the torus field be what people call gravity? You know, and there's no such thing as gravity, Paul. Well, it's just a name, it's a spell. You know, you walk around and you can call it buoyancy, density. Guys, I've researched, but what I'm thinking of is there's things that we have to accept and not accept, and until you find something better, come up with something better that suits you, because you are the common denominator in everything. And never, even the channels that I'm like, why are people watching them? Because of who they are. I still don't tell you not to watch them, because what kind of person would I be if I'm telling you not to watch this, not to listen to this? I'm winging it, and I'm at least being honest about it. I'm winging it. It's not the case, it's fact. Because what's fact? In a reality that you can control and manifest whatever you bloody want. That's the point. If we can manifest whatever we want, whether it's something icky-bicky or something as big, how in sweet Fanny Adams are you going to say I'm right or wrong if this reality is all based off you? If we are what people talk about us being batteries to the system, but think about it. If we're walking Wi-Fi routers or manifying, and we are producing, for instance, if I said to you, here's a video, the Earth is this shape, and I showed you a video that blown your socks off that you didn't think before, you then start to see this realm as that. So what about the other guy who doesn't think of that? Is he wrong? And that's what I'm saying. People, how you take on board, whatever you take on board, changes your philosophy and your perspective of this reality. And it's all done by the Jed pillars, which is your receptors. You can call it tuning forks. There's so many different names you can call it. But if we are able to do what I'm saying we do, but on a bigger level, you got positive and you got negative. So you could have people who walk around knowing they're negative, and they will cause negative feelings that will change your field. It's just mind-blowing when we start to look at things a little bit different, and just be honest that we know fook all. I know fook all. But it seems to be a competition that people just want to be, hey guys, the world's going to end tomorrow. Buy my book for $29.99. Why, if it's ending tomorrow? You know, so be vigilant, guys. Just enjoy this reality, because, you know, we need to have a laugh. We have to have a smile, a joke. I loved taking a piss out of myself. My sense of humour is so bad I couldn't do it on film all the time, because people will think I'm crazy, but we all have a wicked sense of humour, and this is just what I do. I want to laugh, I want to show different theories, I want to talk about, hey, what happens if we're changing this reality because of the information we are receiving? What about if we're passing on viruses via us because we're activating it? You know, the beacons, the little nasties in them have activated because we've walked past. And people say, well, 2 meters apart. But listen, when do people take, you know, it's like the pick and choose things. If I said to you, don't stand next to each other, you're going to stand next to each other. It's out of principle. Sometimes you do it without even knowing it. So this is what this reality is. I believe we are sending out signals, just like cymatics. You know, the sound hits a medium, our toroidal field amplifies it. It's like you singing and you have a good acoustic chamber and the sound travels more. When you learn more, the amplification, the channels of your tor-oid-al field greatly amplifies. It gets so much stronger. And if in this realm, this void, this OID is able to create form, do you not think I'm onto something? I do, and that's why I'm getting excited about this, because this answers a lot. If you take this principle to a lot of the theories, for instance, like the Mandela effect, you're talking about a thing of people. I mean, how many times have you seen people on Mandela channels lead you into something and it's actually changed your mind, saying, no, it's cool to have a different opinion, but if you don't think like me, you're a shill, you're a gatekeeper. It's okay to disagree, because we see this reality different. Our toroidal field is what shapes our reality, what amplifies it. So if you've got a strong toroidal field and it's powerful and it's lighting up, you're going to see this realm for what it is. And it's okay to change, because the more you learn will change your path, will change your patar, your Wi-Fi, your Wi-Patar, we are patar. You know, it's just intriguing, guys, and I'm going to leave it there. And I just want to thank everyone for watching and listening to this weird and wacky theory that, to me, answers a lot of different theories on why we all see this realm differently. It's all to do with the Tor-oid-al field and our essence of how we manifest our, you know, this reality, because we can see things that are not there. Now, is that pareidolia, or is that the fact that we see things that are not there? Does that mean the people who don't see it completely are lying shills and gatekeepers, or is it the fact that they see different things and their eyes fluctuate at a different frequency because it's manipulated by the toroidal field and we're being hacked? Could there not just be things about hacking illnesses, but hacking thoughts, like in the atmosphere? All these things are a go, and we have to think of everything. And that's why I treat it as information, because I don't know, and I hold the right to change my mind at a split second, and we shouldn't be ashamed of saying that. So guys, please like, share and subscribe to see more theories from myself. Please follow me on Instagram, WhatTheFlock.tv, and please, if you can, buy me a coffee, the link's in there. And please also check out the 11th hour, me and Ryder Lee. Right guys, stay safe, always wear a smile, don't let the bar stools get you down. Oh, I have to show you this. I made this today. It's had me giggling, guys. Now, people out there have heard of OnlyFans, but for you discerning Janos fans and researchers, why not go to there you go, Only Jans. I made that before, just as I take the piss out myself with two heads. Instead of OnlyFans, it's Only Jans. Guys, you just gotta have a laugh. And that's what some of the things I put on Instagram, so follow me on Instagram also, and I'll see you in the chat, I'll see you in the premiere, and hopefully you can dig it. Bye guys, and for you select trolls, thank you. Was it not a wow? Bye guys, bye.